Alright, devlog for May 2024. This is going to be a bit of a weird devlog because this is really more of a channel update than a game update. I haven't really worked on the game this month. My focus is kind of like on other things. So I have a lot of different creative outlets that I do. The game is one of them. I also do music. And this month I've also finally decided I really want to start drawing again. I did about like 1 or 2 years ago, I originally tried to start drawing, and that was then purely digital drawing, and then I think gave up. I mean, I lost interest in like a month or two. And drawing is one of the two things that I still really want to learn. One is drawing and the other one is singing, but singing is honestly something I'm probably never going to do because right now I live in an apartment. I don't want to. That's kind of like the annoying thing about singing is you kind of need a space to do it, and if I don't have the space to do it, that means I have to go somewhere. And at that point, you're just looking at travel time, and it's just something I can't fit into my schedule. I'm way too busy of a person to also have to account for travel time, which is why drawing is kind of nice. Drawing is something... So, I think I'm gonna have a lot better of a time drawing this time, because when I first started drawing, I immediately went to digital drawing, so I had a digital pad. The problem is that I have to boot up my PC first, I have to boot up a drawing program, and then I have to draw. Now I'm drawing with a pencil, and I got a sketchbook where I'm drawing in, and it's just way lower threshold. Like the threshold for me to start drawing is just way faster, just way better, and I can just do it more easily. I can do it behind the TV. Like I can put up a episode of Star Trek and I've already seen it. Like I don't have to see it. I just want to like watch the I would just want to hear the philosophical dialogue in the background going on. You know, that's basically it while I'm drawing. So yeah, I'm making pretty big strides pretty quickly with it. I mean, I learn things pretty quickly, so that's something. It's because I have no patience. But yeah, this video is just going to be me rambling on about stuff. I for some reason I really struggle articulating recently. It's just really frustrating. So yeah, drawing, that's something I'm doing right now. Another thing that I've really picked up again is music production. I have been working on my synthwave stuff a lot. I had a really long break, but somewhere I think at the end of last year or at the beginning of this year, I finally started to pick stuff up again. I've gotten a lot better at making mastering. Specifically, like mastering tracks, also doing stuff, making the synthesized sounds is something I've gotten a lot better in. So what I'm currently doing is I'm going through a lot of my old songs and basically remaking them. So around halfway, so I have 60 tracks, which are divided in 3 albums basically. Somewhere around halfway, album number 3, I changed the way I did mastering because I basically had a talk with someone who knew a lot more about music production than I, and he basically gave me a lot of very, very good directions, which massively improved my mastering capabilities. So yeah, about halfway through volume 3, I basically realized that, which basically means I have like 50 tracks that need to be redone. So I've already redone 20 tracks completely. The volume 2 is completely done. So volume 2 I have already uploaded, and songs that I make can basically be categorized in 2 places. Like songs that have just bad mixing and songs that are also just have bad composition. And if they have both bad mixing and bad composition, I mean they all have bad mixing, so it's just bad. If they have bad composition, I've just throw them away. And which is now what I'm doing with the. So I'm now reworking all of my volume 1, so my first synthwave album between brackets, and I'm basically throwing away all songs. Like all the songs are just bad, and I'm replacing them with new ones. There are a handful which I basically re-envisioned, so I may have saved like one melody or one bass line that I liked, but then the entire rest of the song is completely new, which is different from the volume 2 rework. The volume 2 reworks I did mostly kept the songs the same. So yeah, I'm looking towards finally finishing that, and once that is finished, once I've like reworked all my tracks, I will probably put them on Spotify and Bandcamp, and then I will probably also release them. And I'll probably also make a physical medium, not for sale. Like obviously that's pointless, but just for myself, I probably make some physical albums orders. You can just really order, I believe, easily. You can order some album covers and you can just put them in your own discs, disc housings, and I can just put them on the furnace plate or something like that. So yeah, that's just kind of like my own personal achievement then. So yeah, Volume 2 is completely reworked. I only have 7 or 6 tracks remaining on Volume 1, and then that's done. And reworking Volume 3 is going to be really easy because I'm happy with all of the compositions in Volume 3, except for one song. There's one song which is going to be redone, which is Volatile Materials. That's a song where I try to kind of make a dubstep bass, like an old-fashioned dubstep bass, and I honestly didn't do a good job. I'm probably still gonna try to make a dubstep, but that song is gonna get completely reworked. But all the other songs just need a mastering pass, and then it will be a lot better. So yeah, that's really where my focus is. I've kind of fallen out of how do you call it? Rhythm. I've fallen out of the rhythm with working on the game. And I really want to get back into it. I tried to get back into it. I had a vacation, 1 week vacation booked basically. When was that? That was in May or something. I had a 1 week vacation and I just felt like shit that entire week. I wanted to restart production on the game. I started on work on level 5 that month, I believe. And I did get like halfway through the map, but I could have finished that map. Like I could have finished map 5 in that week. Like I can honestly finish a map in 1 week. Not completely, like not all the details, but all the fundamental stuff I can honestly finish. 1 full-time week is all I need to finish a map. And I still have, I mean, if I exclude map 5, because that is for a large part done, I still have 10 maps, because I have 15 maps that I want to do, which is doable. Like it's perfect. Finishing the game is perfectly doable. Like it's not that ridiculous of a concept to finish the game. I just need to get back into the rhythm. Like there is a seriously good path to me finishing the game, and I will finish the game because I mean this is basically my life's work. So, and it is my biggest dream is just releasing a game. My second biggest dream was releasing an album, which I thought that it was going to be a metal album. Well, I guess I'll just stick with synthwave. I mean, synthwave is just so much easier to work with. Making synthesizers sound good is just so much easier. Like, metal guitars are so frustrating. I'm not gonna go into it, but mixing metal is brutal. It is so difficult. Like, having a guitar, the problem with metal mixing is that it needs to sound loud, it needs to sound raw, but it also needs to sound tight and it needs to sound audible. And it is so difficult to keep that balance. Like, you make stuff more louder and rawer and you lose clarity in your music. You make the music really clear, but it sounds too sterile. It is, oh my god, mixing metal is just annoying, and it's probably the reason why I've really gravitate towards making synthwave, because it's just so much fun to work with. You just make the melody, you make the bass line, you do some basic mastering, and it usually sounds great. It's just, I do want to go back to making what I want to probably start doing with my synthwave. So for volume 4, so I'm already thinking about volume 4. So when I finish the 3 volumes I have now, I want to switch up the genres a bit. I can't endlessly make synthwave. I mean, I'm already kind of like at the point where I'm running out of ideas. So I want to kind of start mixing genres. So the first thing that I probably want to do is not immediately go to metal. For volume 4 of my synthwave tracks, what I want to do is make a country synthwave mix. How do you call it? Fusions. So for those who don't know what I'm talking about, if you know the Bastion soundtrack that music has, it's like where you get. So when I say country, I don't mean like modern Western country where they talk about pickup trucks and guns. Like that's dumb stuff. I mean, pickup trucks and guns are cool, obviously. I mean, I hate it when they're blocking the road, but they're cool things, obviously. I'm talking about the pickup trucks are blocking the road, not the guns blocking the road. That would be impressive if you block the road with guns. Very interesting to see that. But I want to make like that's like moody, twangy country. You know, that atmospheric, moody country, and that works just so well with synths. Like I recently watched Star Wars: The Bad Batch, and Bad Batch Season 2 has a lot of that twangy electronic fusion, and it's just so moody and awesome that I really want to also start making that type of music. So I'm probably gonna start implementing some guitar sounds in my synthwave, and after that I do also really want to start making more industrial, kind of like metal fusion with electronics, sort of like, I mean, industrial metal already has usually a lot of synthesizers. So yeah, I mean, yeah, so I will definitely, now that is not necessarily a good thing to do, because it will probably alienate people who are subscribed to my channel and are expecting me to endlessly make darkwave music, because right now the genre that I'm mostly reliable, so the genre that my music falls into right now the most is basically darkwave. It's synthwave in minor keys, very moody, with a tight bass line, drums, and some haunting synthesizers. You know, like darkwave, some called horror wave. Like that's the kind of stuff that I'm making right now. But I won't be making that endlessly, and that can be bad because people's musical taste nowadays is, generally speaking, very narrow. Like people. Like this is how you get in this ridiculous point where you basically get subgenres of subgenres, and people are basically just completely hooked on one subgenres and they don't go out of it. So I can probably expect viewership losses when I start making different types of synthesized music rather than outside of darkwave, but I rather make what I want to make than make what's popular. I mean, I'm not gonna make any money with my creative endeavors anyway, so I might as well just have fun with it. Because endlessly making darkwave is just not going to be interesting. So yeah, I'll probably move to country electronic fusion mix. I don't know what you call it. I'm sure that genre has a name. Like I'm sure that type of, like, because I've heard it more, and I know people really, some people really like that type of music. That music actually shows up in probably the first time I've actually heard that music ever was in StarCraft. The original StarCraft also had that twangy country electronic fusion for the Terran faction. I think it was called Terran 1, right? That is that really popular song from StarCraft Brood War. I'm pretty sure it's called Terran 1. Yeah, that song is so good. Like I get chills from hearing that song. Like, oh, it's so good. I actually used that in one of my college projects as a background song for a project. Nobody knew what it was, of course, because it was fucking Brood War, but hey. Oh, God, I can talk about Brood War so much. Like, Brood War is such a great example of just 90s nostalgia. Like, the badass electronics, the, like, grungy 90s visuals. Then, also the writing was just awesome. Like, you had that really, that was before, like, you had professional writers where people just did stuff that they thought was cool, and it was just awesome. Like, Kerrigan was just a really cool and terrifying character, and then you have her in like StarCraft 2, and it's just like awful. Okay, enough about talking about that, because that's not what this video is about. But again, this is a rambling video, so I don't really care. If you are still listening this far, you knew what you're into. So yeah, I hope to restart work on the game, of course. I need to find just a moment where I just say, I'm gonna start working on it, like, and I just get into the good habit again. Yeah, but yeah, good habits suck, man. Yeah, habits for humans just suck, because good habits take forever to build up. Like, it takes months to build up good. Like, if I want to start working on the game again, I just have to force myself to work on the game every single day, at least 30 minutes, preferably an hour, every single day, and spend weekends on it. Like. And once I've done that for like a few months, then it's very difficult to break the habit again. But the problem is that good habits can be broken in just a week or so. Like a week of not doing anything about it, depending on how strong the habit is. Like if the habit is still a bit weak, then you can lose it in a day. And then you have the problem with bad habits. You know, like let's talk about the bad habits. Like, so the biggest bad habit that I have is I aimlessly browsing the Reddit and YouTube. That's my worst habit. Like I aimlessly browse Reddit or YouTube, and I just am completely unproductive, and it is just the worst. I have been really cutting that, mostly because of drawing and music. Like, instead of aimlessly browsing Reddit, I do now, for the most part, do force myself to make music, and I don't really have to force myself to make music. I find working on music has become so ingrained over the last few times that I can't think about not working on it every single day, which is what I also need to get into with the game. Just can't even imagine not working on it. Drawing, I still have to force myself to draw. Drawing is fucking difficult. It is a really, really difficult skill to learn. And yeah, I mean, it is very disheartening to like try and go into a drawing. You think you can do it, and then you do it, and you look at your drawing, and it's just not right. And it's just, oh no. Like, I'll probably just make pictures and put it on the screen. Like, I drew a Captain Rex as like one of my first like serious drawings. Where so all of my drawings before that were basically just, I'm following the tutorials, you know, I got, for like really cheap, I got like a whole bunch, like probably like 50 hours of online courses for less than like 100 euros, which is great. So I have a ton of course material to follow. So after that course material, that Captain Rex is basically my first drawing of like, okay, I'm gonna choose subjects and I'm gonna try to do my best to draw them. So the Captain Rex, it has issues, but I was pretty happy with it, especially from a distance, it looks great. So as a second character, I then said, okay, let's draw a Stormtrooper, and the Stormtrooper is just worse. And it's just so disheartening when you get a drawing and like, yeah, it's not too bad. And then you get another drawing and like, you expect to be better, and then it's not better. But that's just the way of learning. Like, you're better, and then you are worse again. But then when you are better, you're better than the first time you were better. And that goes on forever and ever. So over the weekend, I drew Geralt and Ciri, and I liked it. I mean, Geralt, I need to work on hair. Hair is difficult, but yeah. I drew Ciri after Geralt, and Ciri was pretty good, honestly. I think I did a pretty good job on Ciri. Again, hair is an issue, and also the eye with the brows are an issue, but yeah. Well, I don't really want to talk about anything more, because otherwise it gets excessively long. Another creative endeavor I also do want to get into is writing. So I'm actually coming up with an entire sci-fi universe. Like, I want to make my own sci-fi universe, and the most efficient way, by far the most efficient way to tell stories in that universe is to make short stories. And I actually started writing with 2 short stories like a year ago, and I never looked at it again. And that is something I also want to start doing, but I should take things one thing at a time. And I really should not start working on writing before I start working on the game again. So yeah, I'm a very ambitious person. I have very many different creative outlets, and I will be doing my best to fulfill all of them. And that is difficult, it is tiring, I am always tired. That is, yeah. I mean, you only live once, and I want to do the things that I want to do. Like, I want to make music, I want to draw, I want to make stories, and I want to make a game. And I'm making it difficult for myself, but I mean, I will have to do it. Like, if I don't do it for like 20 years, I'm like, why didn't I do it? I mean, I'm now kind of sad. Like, man, I wish I started with my creative endeavors when I was younger. Like, I started with making the game when I was, what, 23, 24? I wish I had started like stuff like not per se the game, but like I wish I had started drawing, game design, 3D modeling. Actually, I remember distinctly, this is something crazy, like I remember distinctly when I was a teenager, I thought about, I don't know how, oh yeah, I know how, we had a arts class where we learned 3D modeling in SketchUp. So I basically made an entire neighborhood with just SketchUp. That was really fun, and that really made me go like, I really want to get into 3D modeling. And then I was like, oh, what do you need for 3D modeling? And I would distinctly remember like, oh, you need like a 3D mouse, and it's like, oh, but I don't have the money for 3D mouse. I don't have to like ask that for my birthday, but like I want to get the latest Battlefield for my birthday. And I was like, okay, well I guess 3D modeling is not for me. It's like, younger me, why did you do that? I could have started 3D modeling like way earlier in life, because you don't need a 3D mouse. 3D mouses are literally a scam. They are literally like, since then I've like every professional 3D modeler just uses a mouse and a drawing pad. That's all they use. Nobody actually uses those stupid 3D mouses. Those are literally just a scam. It's like one company that makes them. So yeah, that's basically it. So I'll be interested to see what I'll have to say next month, or if it's gonna be just another round because I didn't start working on the game again. But yeah, ending it. I'm ending it right now. Goodbye.